Hello, welcome to the Knits and Burls podcast. My name is Annie, and I am coming to you from Katy, Texas, where I live with my husband and our 4 children. It has been a very long time since I've sat down to record, and honestly, I wasn't entirely planning on coming back, but I've decided to give this another shot and see how it goes. Life has just been incredibly busy lately, as I'm sure that you can understand with 4 very small children, but the baby is much better sleeper now. He started sleeping through the night a few months ago, and he is a good napper, so I feel like I have a little bit of the capacity to come back and talk about one of my favorite things, which is knitting. So, yeah, if you are a returning viewer, welcome back, and I'm really glad that you stuck around. And if you're new, then welcome. It's really nice to meet you. Yeah, I think I will give more of a detailed life update towards the end of this episode, just in case you're only here for the knitting. But I just wanted to briefly welcome you back and say that I'm happy for you to be here. I don't know if I'm going to go into all of the finished objects I have since the last time that we spoke, because it's quite a bit, and I think instead, for time's sake, I will just talk about my current works in progress. But if you would like me to give a recap of all the pieces that I finished the last few months since I took a break from being here on YouTube, then let me know and I will make a separate video for that, because I think it's quite a bit. And so I think it would be easier to break that up so that we're not sitting here for a very long time. But I will talk to you briefly about what I'm wearing today. I don't think that this was finished last time we spoke. This is the DRK Big Cozy Cardi, or maybe it's just Big Cozy Cardi. I think it's Big Cozy Cardi by Andrea Mowry. And this has quickly become my absolute favorite thing I may have ever knit, which is crazy because I've knit quite a bit, and I honestly wasn't expecting that with this piece. I kind of felt like I took a bit of a gamble with it because I wasn't sure if I would love the finished object, because it is a different shape than any of my other cardigans. It's very boxy, and the sleeves are really tiny, so you almost have, I think it's like a bat wing effect, and it just makes it a different silhouette. If I can figure out how to do it, maybe I will take like a separate video of me wearing it so that you can see it on and see how it fits on me. But yeah, I constantly pull this on. If I'm chilly in the house at all, I just put this right on and I love it. It's made with Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. They're sport weight, I believe, and this is the Dove Heather colorway. And if I remember correctly, I was able to get gauge with my swatch, but I think once I blocked out the body piece, it blocked out bigger than I was expecting. But I really love the finished dimensions of it, so I'm okay with that. And then the collar is this really beautiful Surrey alpaca from Farmer's Daughter Fibers, I think. And I don't remember the colorway name, but I believe it was the original that Andrea Mowry chose for her sample. So I already had the Knit Picks in stash, so I didn't have to purchase any yarn for that. And then I just had to purchase the Surrey alpaca, which is pretty pricey, but I think it was well worth it. I absolutely love it. And it was nice to, have the main body piece as a little bit more of a affordable yarn, and then splurge on the collar, because this is where you get that super cozy vibe. And the Surrey is just unbelievably soft. My kids love to cuddle me whenever I'm in this. They will just sit on my lap and I will wrap them up, and it is so warm and snuggly. And if you have ever been on the fence about knitting it, I highly recommend it. I knit size 1, and that was primarily because I didn't want it to have that like super oversized, almost like a flying squirrel. That's That's what it always reminded me of if it was, like, way too big. So I went with the size 1, and, my bust circumference has decreased quite a bit since knitting this, but I think, yeah, I wouldn't have changed sizes either way. So I really like that whenever I first cast this on, it would have fit me in the body that I had then, and it fits me really well where I'm at right now. So I think that is a golden project for me. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say, but I can't think of anything. Yeah, just can't recommend this enough. If you're on the fence, I say go for it because I want to knit this again and I have yarn to knit this again. I may have shown that last time that we spoke, but I just love it. I loved the process of knitting it. It is slow going, but to me it was like knitting a blanket and it was the perfect time in my life. It was whenever the baby was very young and I didn't really have much brain space, so this fit in my life very well at that time, and I just can't recommend it enough. So I think that's the only finished object I'm going to talk about today. And then, like I said, if you would like to get a recap of what all I finished the last few months, let me know, and I can definitely organize everything because that's the main problem, right? Like everything I finish, some of it is put in one spot and some of it is being used, so some of it's been gifted, so it's kind of all over the place and I would have to track it down. So let me know if you would like to see it and I can definitely organize that. So let's go ahead and get into whips. I think I will start with socks because I have been loving socks lately. I don't know why. It just kind of goes in phases, but right now I'm definitely in a sock phase. And if you have been here before, then you may know that I like to knit socks for my two oldest children, who are both boys. I like to knit them birthday and Halloween and Christmas socks. So this year's birthday and Halloween socks are done and they are being well loved. So all I have left is their Christmas socks, which I started, I think I started November 1st. So not that long ago, but this yarn is absolutely amazing. So it is knitting up very quickly. This is where I'm at with my first pair, and I have the cuff done on the second pair. So I've just finished the heel and I'm working on the foot right now. You can see that beautiful yarn. This is Night Owl Fibers, and I want to say it was her 2022 Christmas yarn. So that made me think maybe it was like just a one of a kind. I found this on a website, which I will link below, and I know that they're sold out now, so I really apologize for that, but maybe you can find it on the D-Stash if you're interested in getting your hands on some of this yarn. I absolutely love it. I actually was planning on knitting them socks out of a different colorway that I had in stash, but I was not enjoying that yarn at all, so I decided that I would frog that and work with this yarn instead, and that was the perfect choice. This yarn is so smooth and quick to work with. It's actually a 75-25 base, which I don't have a lot of experience knitting with, and so I don't know if that is what's making it like extra nice to work on, but I love it. And the colors, self-striping yarn, it's like, oh, let me get to the next color. And each one is so rich. I can't pick a favorite. And then the contrast was actually a Knit Picks that I had in stash, but it literally looks like it was made for this yarn. So this is for my 6-year-old, and just for reference, I'm doing 60 stitches on a US 1 and I did a shadow wrap heel. Anyways, back to these socks. This is in a bag that my friend Laura from Back Porch Fiber Co. made me as a Christmas gift a few years ago, and this is my go-to anytime I work on something Christmas, and if this bag is available, this is what I use. So super special, and that's what my boys' Christmas socks are in. Oh, I was going to show you. I have the cuff for the next pair started and ready to go, and they're going to be green. I don't know if it'll match as well as the red does. Yeah, no, I think that looks great. The son that this is for, his favorite color is green, and then this one, his second favorite color is red. Although I feel like that changes just about every day, so I think right now his second favorite color is red. His favorite color is blue, but I didn't have anything that would look good blue-wise with this, so I went with the red. So those are going very quickly, and I am excited to give those to them. So I've tried to put those on the back burner for a minute because this next project I'm trying to get done before Thanksgiving. This was kind of like a spur cast on. I think I cast this on November 1st as well. But I am knitting the DRK Everyday Socks, and these are a pair of socks for myself. So I had a 50-gram sock set of Tiny Human Knits in her Harvest colorway in my stash, and I actually have a lot of her yarn in my stash that are in 50-gram skeins, and I haven't used any of them because I kind of have big feet. I wear like a women's size 9 or 10, and I've been nervous to use up the 50-gram skeins and then run out once I get to the toe. So I decided to try the DRK Everyday Socks. And what really spurred this on was I knit this pattern a couple years ago, I think. I think it was 2 years ago during Advent out of an Advent skein. I can't remember who this dyer is, but if I could find it, I'll let you know. And this is how they turned out. And since it's been chilly, I have been reaching for these so much, and they fit really, really well. So that's what made me think, oh, let me try to find a skein and stash and cast on another pair of these. They look absolutely ridiculous. They're so long and skinny, but it's because they're fully ribbed. And they fit really well though once you actually put them on. So I found the Harvest sock set in my stash, and I have been knitting on these. So this is the second sock, and then the first one, I think I'm ready to start like the heel increases. I think that you increase for the heel, and then yeah, you do some fancy heel that's in her pattern. So this is the second one. And I have this really pretty stitch marker. This is from Lock and Lou, I think you say. It's a little pumpkin pie. I got this a few years ago, but I love it. It's perfect for a Thanksgiving pair of socks. So for these, I'm knitting 60 stitches on a US 1, and I've been loving it. I just follow the pattern exactly as she says, and they're knitting up really quick, but I need to get going because Thanksgiving is next week, so hopefully I can get those done in time. But if not, they're just kind of a fun, like, work on in the Thanksgiving season time. And in that pair of socks, I have them. I think that this company is discontinued, but they actually might sell the pattern for this bag online. It's called Mighty Woolly. I don't know if you can see that or if it's going to be backwards, but it's like a bucket, and then you can tie it, and you can also fold down the fabric inside, and then it'll make a little bowl. But I really like this bag. It's perfect for fitting just a pair of socks, and then you can, roll down the fabric and then set it next to you and work straight from the bag. Yeah, I really like it. Okay, I have 3 more works in progress I wanted to talk to you about. Let's do sweaters first, and then I think I'll finish with what I think is the closest to being finished. All right. So next up is my ranunculus. I think I cast this on for Casey's did she have like a ranunculus knit along over the summer maybe? She had some knit along over the summer. So I cast this on for that, didn't finish it in time. And then I thought, oh, I'll enter it into Amber from A Lovely Yarn. She's doing a knit along with the Two Fruitful Hands podcast, I think is their name. If I get that wrong, I'll be sure to put their name up here. But they're also doing a ranunculus knit along, but I don't remember the details. I don't know if whips are allowed, and I don't remember when the cutoff date is. So if I finish it before then, I will see if whips are allowed, and then I'll enter it for that. I was definitely not this far into it. Whenever their knit along started, I had not even split for the sleeves, actually. Yeah, I remember that now, because I was really debating on the size. This is my third or fourth ranunculus. I think this is my third, and the first two I knit the size 3, and then, yeah, just I've lost a lot of weight recently, and so I was really nervous for the size 3. So I just put it on hold for like months and then decided, I couldn't make the decision. So I put it in a bag and put it away until I was ready to make the decision. And I had decided on size 2, and I think that was the right call. So this is, the Ranunculus by Midori Hiroshi, I think. I'm sure that you know about this pattern because it is the most liked and worked pattern on Ravelry for like ever. And I can't recommend it enough because it fits. It's like that movie, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. This is that, but in knitting. This sweater will fit anybody and look amazing on them. So here it is. I've knit quite a bit since then, and now I'm kind of at the point where I need to make another decision, and so I have stalled on it, which I need to get going on it because one of my friends on Instagram is also knitting this, and she's using the same yarn, and she's about to run out. So I told her I would send her my leftovers, and so I need to get going on this so that I can send those over to her so she can finish hers, but I just can't decide. I can't decide how long I want it, and I can't decide on the length of sleeves. I should tell you the yarn. I'm sorry. This is, let's see if I have the tag. I do. Okay, this is Ritual Dyes, and this is in her Undine. I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. It's UNDINE. Fingering weight. It's a 60/40 organic cotton and linen, and this is the slate colorway. So I originally actually saw this color on Casey's podcast, so that's why I decided to cast it on and try to enter it into her podcast, into her knit along that she had going on, because I was inspired by her, and so I wanted to knit it with her. And yeah, it's a really beautiful color. It's like a blue and a gray and a green all in one, which are some of my absolute favorite colors, and I think it will go with everything. So the first ranunculus that I knit was out of Quince & Co. Kestrel yarn, I believe. I can't remember what the exact makeup of that yarn is, but it is like a plant fiber. Maybe it's 100% linen or 100% cotton, and I think it's Aran bait. So that was my very first ranunculus that I ever knit. And with that one, I did 3/4 length sleeves, and I made it longer, like not cropped. And then my second one that I knit was out of the Fiberco Lore, and that's 100% wool, I believe. And so that one, because I knew it would be, worn in the winter, I did long sleeves and a longer body. So with this one, I guess originally I was thinking 3/4 length sleeves and a longer body, similar to my very first ranunculus, but now I don't know. I don't know if I want to wear this with dresses, and if so, then I think I would need to crop it to go with like the style of how that looks. And I don't think I've ever knit a crop sweater before, So I have no idea what length to knit. I don't know if you stop at your belly button or your hips or, yeah, where. And I also don't know about the sleeves. I think if I did cropped, then I would probably want short sleeves. So, anyways, if you guys have an opinion, I would love to hear it. Or, yeah, if you like see this sweater and you're like, ooh, this would look so good with XYZ outfit, let me know because I am stalled on this one and I really need to get it finished so that my friend can finish hers. So, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about that one. I have this. I'm just kind of having fun showing you my bags. This isn't a bag that I actually made a few years ago. It's like a wax canvas. My friend Laura, she gave me this fabric as a gift. And so I made a bag out of it. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure she helped me make this one. If she wasn't like physically there the whole time, then, through the phone, she helped me a ton. But I'm pretty sure we were like physically together and we made bags together. I can't totally remember. Okay, second to last project. And this is another sweater. So speaking of Laura, her and I decided to cast on a sweater and do just like a very casual, informal friends knit along. But if you want to join in, we are absolutely thrilled if you want to do that. So we are both knitting the pink velvet, nope, pink fizz sweater by Andrea Mowry. And here is mine. This is a bottom up sweater and it has this really gorgeous lace panel. Oh, it's showing up so well. Oh, look how pretty that is. So I am knitting mine in this really delicious yarn. I'm really enjoying this yarn. It is called Erin Moore Light, and I'll have to put the name up here for you because I don't think I have a tag in my bag. I saw this Betsy Farmer. If you follow her on Instagram or on Ravelry, she has the most beautiful pictures and everything she knits is timeless and I want to knit, but I can't keep up with her, so that's okay. But I saw her pink fizz was out of this yarn and that's what absolutely inspired me. Originally it's knit out of a fingering weight and mohair, but I just didn't really want to do that. Yeah, I think there is something so beautiful about the mesh between woolly yarn and lace, and I think that this yarn absolutely highlights that. So yeah, so that is what I'm doing with this one. I'm knitting the size 3, which we kept going back and forth on, like, do we do the size 3? Do we do the size 2? But we both want it boxy and oversized. So we're both doing size 3. Hopefully that's going to work out because this is a ton of work and it is bottom up and it's lace. So I'm nervous that the lace is going to open up a huge amount and then the sweater is just going to be swimming on me. But hopefully that doesn't happen. If it did happen, I think I would just have to take a break and, frog it and come back to it at a later time because this is taking all of my brain power whenever I work on this. And I don't have a ton of that right now, which is okay. But I would probably have to take a break if the fit was just totally wrong, which happened to me twice this summer. I think it was this summer. I tried to knit 2 different sweaters and both of them turned out to be circus tents. They were so big. So I don't know. I guess I just had 2 bad sweater fails back to back, so I had to take a long break from sweaters, but I feel confident in being back in it right now. Thankfully the ranunculus, it seems like such a forgiving pattern and it's on size 10 needles, so if you make a mistake or if you mess up, it's not that much of a time commitment, whereas this one, I'm knitting these on size 6 needles, which is still pretty good, but every row I have to concentrate on, so it's really slow going. Um, and I did do a good big gauge swatch, so I'm hopeful that it'll fit well. However, I also did big, good gauge swatches for those other 2 sweaters, and they just were way too big, so hopefully that does not happen with this one. Um, this one I've just been trying to work on every day, do 1 to 2 rows, because I probably could, but I don't work on this a ton when my children are around, mainly just 'cause, um, yeah, it's lace work. Oops, sorry. It's lace work, which is definitely challenging for me, which I really enjoy having a project like that on my needles. Most of my projects I want easy and mindless, but the challenge of having to focus on every row, I think, really highlights the mental benefits that knitting can provide us. And yeah, I like to have a project like that going. What else to say about this? I do think this yarn reminds me a lot of Brooklyn Tweed Loft, if you've ever worked with that before, but it's definitely stronger. So if you are like me and you love Brooklyn Tweed Loft, but you don't want to financially commit to using that yarn and then have your finished piece fall apart or not last for a long time, I would recommend this yarn. However, I haven't finished it yet, and so I don't know how it's going to wear over time, but it seems more stable and hard wearing than Brooklyn Tweed Loft. So, yeah, it's something to think about. The texture of working with it reminds me a lot of that yarn. So, there you go. This will be a longer term project, I think, just because, like I said, it takes a lot of brain capacity and thus time for me. And this one is living in, I think this might be called a town bag. This is from French Supply Co., which they are no longer in business, but I actually found this on a Ravelry D-stash, and I got it for like $20, I think. I mean, it definitely has some stains on it, but a lot of those are honestly probably from me, so I love this bag, and I like that it's brown because it hides everything. Okay, last project. Whew. Hopefully I haven't been talking too fast, but we are already at like 30 minutes, so I think that's pretty good. I don't want to keep you here all day, and yeah, anyways, I'm obviously out of practice and a little bit nervous, so please be kind to me. And I hope I'm looking at the right spot, but I apologize if I'm not. Okay, last project. I am crocheting a blanket right now. I saw this blanket on Amber from a Lovely Yarns podcast a few months ago. She mentioned that she saw this blanket on Danny of Little Bobbin's podcast. I feel like it's always like, it's fun that people refer to each other in the knitting community. So I went on Danny's podcast episode that Amber recommended and saw her finished blanket and totally fell in love with it. Sorry, this is the Fireside Blanket by Attic24. So between both of those ladies' podcasts, I decided to purchase yarn for it. And it's 100% acrylic yarn. It's, let's see, Stylecraft Highland Heathers DK. This is just one ball of it. I'm using all of the original colors that Attic24 designed the blanket in. So I don't remember how many colors it is total. Maybe like 12, but it's really affordable. And like I said, it's 100% acrylic. Super nice to work with. Does not hurt your hands at all. Does not feel like 100% acrylic. But yeah, it's going to be the perfect blanket for anyone can snuggle up with it. If they're dirty or snotty or whatever, I don't care because it's 100% acrylic. And I'm taking I'm being very meticulous about weaving in my ends so that the blanket doesn't fall apart. um, because I want this to be, when it's finished, just be like a free for all, use it anytime you want. Versus like this blanket back here, this is knit out of Knotty Pine Fiber Co. Her first advent she did. So let's see, I think that was 2021. So, you know, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people would just like let whoever use that. But I have very small children, and a lot of things just like get destroyed over time because they are still learning to be careful. And so that blanket, for instance, it's a lot more expensive yarn. It's not as hard wearing. So it stays in our bedroom and just kind of hangs out in our chair. And it's more of like reserved for adults kind of blanket. Yeah, if y'all know what I'm talking about, or if you feel similar to me or totally different, that would be interesting to know. But this blanket I wanted just like as a family blanket. Anyone grab it, anyone use it, and it's not going to fall apart. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, I am. I have just started. I have 1, 2, 3 more rows to go. So these 2 rows are kind of like one row. I'm working on this big one for this piece right now. And then I decided, since this is my very last row, I think I'm just going to work all 3 at the same time. And then whenever I get to the end of the row, I'll be done. This is the first time I've done that, but I figured since I'm so close, I thought it would be kind of fun to do something a little bit different. And then I'm not getting that confused because this is a free pattern, so I'm fine with sharing this. When I bought, maybe it wasn't a kit. Maybe I didn't have to kit it myself. Maybe the kit is all put together for you. I bought this from the Wool Warehouse, and they sent me the pattern with the yarn. Obviously, I've been using it a lot because it's falling apart. But to keep track of where I'm at, I made this sticky note, and it shows you like square 57, you're going to use these 3 colors. So then whenever I finish square 57, I find it on my chart and I exit out. So now I only have 2 columns left, and I'm not getting that confused by which squares go where. And this is really helpful. Hopefully that's showing up, but it gives you like a schematic, and each square has the number that it corresponds with. I am definitely a beginner crocheter with very limited experience in crocheting, and I have had no problem whatsoever with this. It was definitely a learning curve for me to figure it out, but after I got the first square done, I felt like I had that pretty good. And then once you do, it's a join as you go pattern. So once I did the first few joins, I felt like it was pretty good. I have to refer to the pattern almost every square. But I'm sure if you were, had more experience with crochet, you probably wouldn't need to do that. I'm also just like, I'm nervous I'm gonna get it wrong, so I just want to double check my work. Yeah, but I just refer to the pattern a little bit, and then I can kind of go off with it. So yeah, so it is just a beautiful blanket. Sorry, hopefully you can hear me. Once you finish all these squares, you go back around and you do a border, which I think that you can kind of see right here. I'm really looking forward to that. I will say one thing with this pattern, which is just a nature of like this kind of blanket. There are so many ends to weave in. And I have been really good about weaving in my ends, like, well, I should say, except for this last row, I just went rogue and just kept crocheting and wouldn't take a break to weave in my ends. But I think I'm going to have to stop, go back and weave in all those ends, and then continue and finish off the project. But I was really good for the first, 75% of what I've done After every square or every 2 or 3 squares, I would go back and weave them all in because every single little square has 6 ends to weave in, and every big square has 10 ends to weave in. And I'm sure that you can weave in your ends as you go with crochet like you can when you're knitting. I don't even do that when I'm knitting because I do not like the finished look of it. I think I can get a much nicer look if I use a darning needle than I can if I manipulate the yarn and hold it while I'm knitting in a certain way that weaves it in as you go. So I didn't really want to worry about learning that new skill when I was already learning so much with this blanket. So I just decided to weave them in with a darning needle at the end. But I calculated it. At the end of this blanket, I will have woven in 496 ends. So I think I need to say that just for any of you who are considering this, but absolutely hate weaving in ends. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend this to you because it takes me as much time to weave in the ends of a square as it does for me to crochet them. So it's just something for you to know. And if you're like me and weaving in ends isn't as fun as crocheting or knitting to me, but it is relaxing. And I can, if I just kind of make like a thing out of it, um, then it's fine for me to do. But if you are just someone who can't even fathom doing that, then I would not recommend this for you. Or just live with it like this at the end and have all of your ends on the back and be fine with it. But I can't do that. I've got to go in and weave those ends before it's finished. So yeah, here we go. It's so beautiful. I love these colors. It's very bold for me. So it's been a really fun experience to work all these colors in. Yeah, the Fireside Blanket. I absolutely love it. And I think, um, yeah, I'm hoping to have that done for sure by the end of the year. I think that's definitely doable. If I didn't have those projects that I feel like are a little bit more of a deadline, both pairs of socks and my ranunculus, I really want to get those done as soon as possible. If I didn't have those, yeah, then I would probably just turn all my attention to that blanket because it is really fun to work on and it's really fun to work with all the different color. So, yeah, those are all of my works in progress. And I really don't have many acquisitions. I was trying to think if I had purchased any. I know I've probably purchased, yeah, I've definitely purchased things since the last time that we spoke, but nothing immediately comes to mind that I purchased recently. I did shop the Knit Picks. They have a really big sale going on right now. So I did purchase yarn from that because I have a couple of projects that I'm really excited to work on this next year that I will share with you about next time. So that's it. That's all the knitting content, I think. Yeah, if you're only here for knitting, then thank you for coming, and I really appreciate you spending time with me. If you'd like a little bit of a life update, I will try to fill you in. I'm trying to think. I really should have referred back and saw when the last time I recorded was, but it was several months ago. So our youngest has just turned 1. He turned 1 last month. And I feel like, at least for us, once we make it through that 1 year mark, things just get easier. He's walking, he's sleeping better, which he was definitely my worst sleeper. At least he took the longest out of all my kids to sleep through the night, which was definitely challenging, especially with having 3 other children to take care of. And then me being sleep deprived was really hard. But now he's sleeping through the night and he is so funny. He has just brought so much joy to our lives. And yeah, life is just busy with the kids, and we do like a hybrid homeschool program here. So my two oldest, go on campus twice a week, and then I homeschool the rest of the week. So, as you can imagine, that keeps me pretty busy. It's mainly like wrangling the toddler and the baby while homeschooling that is the most challenging. But so those days are very filled, but filled with amazing, great things. And I've actually started taking a couple of classes at our local community college. Um, I've always wanted to be a nurse. I was actually a medical technician in the Air Force whenever my husband and I met. That's how we met, was through the Air Force. I don't know if I've shared that on here before, but so that's basically just like an LVN citizen side. And that was a really cool experience, and it really kind of reinforced my ideas that I wanted to work in the medical field someday. And then, yeah, I did some college, and then we started having kids, so that kind of got put on the back burner while while we expanded our family, but now that things are getting a little bit easier, I've started taking a couple of classes at our college, and I will start sciences next semester, which is really exciting. And hopefully, if everything stays on plan, on track, then hopefully I will start nursing school in a couple years. So that's been a big time commitment, especially like at night after the kids go to bed. That's when I usually do that stuff. And yeah, and then I've just been able to get back in shape after having the baby. I've been running a lot. I've been following this half marathon training plan, and I'm almost done with it. I only have 3 weeks left, I think, and then we'll see what the next part of whatever I decide to do is training wise. I've just been really enjoying getting back in shape. That's something that I've always loved. I ran cross country in high school, and with the military, um, yeah, a big focus is fitness, and it's something that I've always been passionate about. So that's been taking up a lot of my free time, and then, of course, knitting and crochet whenever I can squeeze it in. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think I'm rambling at this point, but I'm trying to encompass what's been going on the last few months since I recorded last. So I think I will stop while I'm ahead and say thank you for spending time with me today. And my goal is to probably sit down once or twice a month. I think that's pretty realistic. I don't like, yeah, I'm not able to like crank out projects, which I know that's not the point of sitting down and doing these things, but I also want to be able to share something with you. So let me know if you would be interested in a separate video that recaps everything I finished since last time we spoke, and I can organize that. And yeah, without further ado, I will say goodbye, and I hope you're having a good holiday season, and I hope you're getting some knitting. It was good to talk to you. Bye.